buggy's been doing pretty well lately, but there are still some issues, like the throttle cable isn't moving anymore. What else? The chain is super loose. The crane pulley that I put on there doesn't work. I need to put something else on there. I'm going to use this heavier duty looking metal one. That should do the trick. Honestly, I think I'm going to put a different motor into there. I think we'll start off a little easy by taking care of that pulley. Move some of these flammable materials out of the way first. Chop all this stuff off. Gotta get your eyes and ears on. You only get 2 of each after all. Now, what I was thinking is take off the hook off of this thing first, and then just stick it on something like this. I'll stick this hook somewhere back onto the buggy. Maybe permanently mount it somewhere to the back, so I don't have to keep using the towing hitch that has the hook on it. That way I can leave that hitch on the truck. Did you see where the bushing went? Yeah, something like this then. Let me go put on my welding apron and we'll go tack that thing on. Now, I do remember from the last video, from both editing it and then watching it before I uploaded, all that welding footage was a bit much. I'm going to try and tone that back a little bit on this one. Alright, now we can make some brackets to go up on there. And find something from the scrap pile real quick. And there we go. We have got a very beefy set of braces for this thing. And the pulley still spins nicely. This thing is very well braced up. I think that'll do the trick just fine. Let's get the steel cable onto there, see how it looks. Oh yeah, check that out. Alright, and then another thing I want to do is, I think I'll add some hoops. Maybe I should put a hoop out here as well. Can't forget my thinking cap. I might fill in that little spot right there with weld. I don't know if it really needs it though. Anyway, I'm done with the crane for now. The next step is to start working on the engine changes I want to make. Yummy. Here we go. Here's the buggy without the seats. It looks a lot faster when I take the seats off, I think. Cool. Next we're going to pop this exhaust off so we can disconnect this throttle cable and then work on getting the engine out of here and unboxing the new one, which is hidden under there.
Now let's pop this chain off. All the guys who do go-kart stuff are probably laughing at me struggling with this. Easy. I like this chain I got the last time I was buying parts for this thing. First couple of chains I got, they were just terrible. Sounds like there's a pig in my yard. Give me a second. Alright, let's get this engine out of here. Look at that. Easy as pie. See all the remains of those CVT belts I was using beforehand. And I had the torque converter instead of the centrifugal clutch. Bits of belt everywhere, man. Disaster. And let's get the new one in. Alright, done. Right, this thing looks pretty nice. Definitely bigger. I'm gonna pop this gas tank off. Let's see if it's an 8. Think so. Alright, next we're gonna work on relocating this off switch. Alright, now we apply some heat. A small normal lighter like this is more than enough. Alright, let's talk about this control box right here. So earlier I had that push-pull style of throttle cable on there, and that was a really good throttle cable, and it wasn't rated to be outside. Water got into all those mechanisms and it seized it up completely. I could not get it to move anymore. I decided to go for something a little simpler. This is exactly what you'll find on any riding mode. Hopefully not really much to break on here. I'm gonna mount this up on there. The issue is, so that's not gonna work. I ended up designing a new one. So the first thing is this little tab right here needs to be cut off because it's not gonna fit inside here. Okay, let's see if that fits. Here we go. Got it mounted up in there, threw a few, drilled a few holes and dropped some screws in there. I also put some glue on this side, and it seems like that's going to be enough. Alright, so again, this tube is what we're mounting the control box on. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed this wire through just to get it out of the way. And then we'll see where the throttle cable ends up sitting. We'll make a mark and we'll trim it over there. That right there is where the throttle cable wants to sit. So we'll make sure this is actually sitting straight, and it is. Now we'll just mark it. Alright, let's see how well that fits. Got ourselves some zip ties. Slow, fast, slow, fast. This is a leftover piece of metal from that Beamer project I've been working on. I'll be posting some videos on that later too. I think I'm gonna do a few pie cuts here. I'm gonna make a few of these, and then I'll be able to make the exhaust next time I get back in well. Let me finish this cut. There we go. That sounded kind of wet. Let's work on getting that muffler attached. This is roughly what it's going to look like. Oh yeah. So I've already got a centrifugal clutch to put into there, or I guess they call it a centrifugal clutch, doesn't really matter. And I've got the overdrive gear I want to use in place of that sprocket. So to connect this, I had Send cut this piece out for me that I drew up. It's just a piece of, I think it was 5/16, with the inside diameter being just about the same as these sprockets here, so I can press fit it on, and then I'm going to weld the outside of this flange to here. And then these are threaded for M10 threads, so I'll be able to bolt this thing onto there, and it should be concentric and right there at the same level as those upper teeth on this clutch. Excuse the mess on my desk here. Material I'm removing, and it looks like I just need to kind of clean up around the outside there. I need to go too deep into there, which is nice. Alright, let's find a flat disc and get to it. So yeah, we'll just press it in like this. Looks like exactly what I wanted. And you can see how that sprocket is a little bit above this adapter. That way when I put that overdrive sprocket on here, it'll sit at right about the same height. I got my little welding table here. It's just a piece of plate I've been using. Move this over so you can see a little better. There you go. I think I'll throw some Loctite on these, and I need to get an Allen key for it. Right, I got the plate mounted on with a few bolts. Now we're going to see how we want this tensioner to sit. Once we get it in place, I'll just tack it on, take the whole thing back off, and finish welding it at the table. So we're just going to lay some more beads down there, one over there. Probably don't need anything in there, but might throw a tack in and then we'll be good. And there we go, tensioner is installed, spinning nicely. We got the bracket welded up onto here. Let's bolt this thing on. There we go. There we go, we're ready for gas. Oh yeah, this thing's practically empty. buggy's been doing pretty well. The changes I made to the crane earlier, adding the winch and all those rings to hold the winch line in place, have all been fantastic. I've been using that crane a lot. I was pulling my lawnmower over and lifting it up so I could work on the deck. I've been picking up this trailer to work on it. And even if you just moving stuff around the yard, it's been fantastic for that. So that reinforced pulley I put in, of course the winch like I just mentioned, and all those rings, all been fantastic. That part has been a success. The new engine is also nice. The increased torque is definitely noticeable. Going up some of these hills in the yard, which are all pretty minor hills, I don't see the engine bogging down like it used to, so that part was a success. The exhaust I made too, that's fun. I like that. It felt really nice to use up that Honda muffler I've had under my deck for a while now. It's just nice knowing that I got to reuse part of that old Honda that I used to love so much. The clutch system, really fun to design that, and it does work and it hasn't failed. The effect I was hoping it would have has not occurred. Even though it is spinning the hydrostatic transmission input faster, the actual transmission itself cannot output any more rotational speed. I think I'm hitting the maximum speed that this lawnmower transaxle can output, which is understandable. I think the speed I'm going at now on the buggy is going to be about the maximum speed. I was hoping for a more high-paced walking speed, like what you would do at the grocery store. What I've managed to accomplish is more of a casual walking speed, like you're just walking around the house, which is still an upgrade because beforehand I had the walking speed that you would use inside an art gallery or something, which was really slow. So, the critical issues at hand are that the transmission still leaks. It still leaks a lot. So the chain tensioner I designed is right here. It still is supplying tension and that part is working. But if you look at it from this side, that bushing very quickly got deteriorated and now it's just metal on metal contact. I think this happened because whenever I push the forward or reverse pedals, as they pull on these arms here, the entire transmission rotates one way or the other and kind of moves side to side. I believe that that movement is then going into the chain and causing angles on it, which this little plastic bushing was not designed to handle. As far as next steps, I have thought of a few different solutions that would let me ditch the hydrostatic transmission, still get the forward and reverse I need and the torque I need to move this vehicle for its intended purposes. But for now, there's other projects I want to spend my time on. The reason it leaks is twofold. The primary reason is when I had it open to adjust it to operate at this orientation. When I was reassembling it, it wasn't fitting and I ended up dropping it onto my garage floor. So I'm going to redo that. And then past that, it also leaks out of the output shaft up here. That is the primary leaking point, and that I believe just has to do with the design of it and the fact that it was never made to operate in this orientation. Also, I'm going to see if I can find some sort of seal I can pound into the output shaft area and see if I can use that to slow down the leaking as well. Hey, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around and watching me build this thing. This has been a lot of fun, putting this buggy together out of all those spare parts I had laying around, and even repairing it in this video has been a lot of fun too. Hopefully I can continue to get a lot of use out of this thing, make some changes. Thanks for watching.